Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today it is the day that Pompey could get promoted and win the title. Comment below if you think it's going to happen, but we're going to be starting things off at Barnsley where they take on Reading. Now obviously Barnsley, 3 losses out of their last 4 matches, 1 win in their last 5. It's not looking good for them. Compared to Reading, who've had 3 wins out of their last 5. And it's got to the point now for Barnsley where if they don't start putting some wins together, they could find themselves falling out of the promotion playoff places, let alone trying to push for automatics that they were not too long ago. That draw against Bolton really did throw them off. I think they're going to lose here. I think Reading are a fantastic side. You saw what they've done in their last few matches. Obviously, that game against Bolton was a little bit of a blip, but since then they've won and they've drawn against Lincoln, which was a very, very impressive result. So I do think they're going to win here. Barnes have been dropping some silly points recently, and I can't see that turning around anytime soon. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 away victory. Onto Carlisle, and they host Blackpool. Are Blackpool still holding on to that playoff race? I'm not sure. I can't really see it happening, but they're still going to be up for matches. Obviously, 2 in their last 2 matches. They're going the right way about it. They take on a Carlisle side who, for every game now, it's a free hit for them, and they're going out there, and they're actually playing much better than when they were actually competing for something. But I don't think they're going to have enough. I do think Blackpool will win this game. I am going to go with a narrow win. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to the away team again. Next up, it is Cheltenham versus a Bristol Rovers side whose form is that of a relegation team. Luckily, they had enough points on the board that they are safe. But if this had happened any earlier, they would be in trouble. As for Cheltenham, they are in trouble. That last loss against Carlisle would have really dampened things. At home, they'd have expected to get all 3 points here. But it is about how they respond. Do I think they're going to get all 3 points? Possibly not. But I do think they're going to get something from this game. I'm going to go with a really boring one here. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw, but a point for Cheltenham is definitely a positive. Next up, it is a team that are virtually down, Fleetwood. They take on Northampton. I think if everything goes against them, they could end up with being in Sky Bet League 2 as soon as Saturday afternoon. As for Northampton, it's probably the worst time to play against Fleetwood because they're going to be fighting for everything. But I think Northampton's character, their sort of lack of caring at the minute, because they're going into every game as like it's a free hit because they're not going to go down, not going up, and you've seen what that's done for their confidence. 3 wins out of their last 4 matches is very impressive, especially as one of them was against Derby County. Now, I think they're going to win here, not convincingly, but I do think they're going to win. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to the away team. Next up, it is Lincoln, and they take on Wigan. Now, obviously, Lincoln dropped points and looked very shaky against Reading. Could have easily lost that game on another day had it been a different referee. But they are playing a Wigan side that are on the beach. 3 draws out their last 5. The other 2 are losses. They're not really that bothered anymore. And I think Lincoln will bounce back and win here. They need to win here to keep that pressure on Oxford, who have a very tough game on Saturday against Peterborough. So I'm going to go with a home win. I think it will keep the playoff race very interesting. And if Barnsley do lose, it could potentially bring all 3 of them into the mixture. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 home win, a comfortable one for the Imps that sees them bounce back after a little wobble against Reading. Well, on to that game I was on about earlier, Oxford versus Peterborough, 2 teams that are fighting for everything at the minute. Oxford obviously seem like they've got themselves back into a bit of form under Des Buckingham for really the first time since Liam Manning's departure. And I think since that loss to us, where they were very impressive and didn't really deserve to lose, they really show what they're about. Back-to-back 4-0 wins is very impressive for a team like Oxford. Peterborough, though, they're fighting for everything. That win against Port Vale by that sort of scoreline, and also seeing Derby drop points, will be massive for them. But this is the game that they don't need to be trying to turn over that goal difference. They need to just win the game. I think 3 points is the priority here. In other games, like when they play against Fleetwood, you can be trying to get lots of goals. This one, they've just got to win the game. I think they will. Peterborough, their wingers have the ability to change matches, and it looks like everyone's sort of coming into the form at the right moment in time. That Wembley visit was definitely a massive morale booster. I think they're going to win here fairly comfortably. I'm going to go with a 3-1 away victory. Port Vale, then, they were the ones that got defeated by Peterborough 3-0, and they look to bounce back in this one, as they seem to have dragged themselves out of the relegation zone or somewhere around it. They're fighting for something. They've got a fighting chance. Exeter, on the other hand, they've done very well in their last 5 matches. And with teams like this, it can either go one of 2 ways. They can either go job done, just take the foot off the gas a little bit and relax now to the end of the season. Or they can go every game as a free hit and we're going to go for it each time. I'm not too sure of Exeter. I haven't really been too familiar with them recently. So I'm going to sit on the fence here. I am going to go with a draw. I don't think it's going to be goalless. I do think there will be a couple of goals in it, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Well then, the Chair Boys, fresh off the back of a very impressive 0-0 draw against Derby that's really harmed them, but we'll get to them in a minute. As for Shrewsbury, they looked pretty mediocre. They didn't play a very good Portsmouth side, or one of the ones I've seen this season. We weren't very good that day, and yet we still looked fairly comfortable. Wycombe, on the other hand, they're a good side. They've proved it. They didn't really deserve to lose at Wembley. They definitely came into things that made it a bit more of an even game against Derby. And I think they're going to win here as well. I'm going to go with a fairly comfortable 2-0 away win. And hopefully for them, they can just get into this season now with not too many issues and build again for next time around. Next up, it is two teams that are still playing for something. Stevenage, not as much. Burton definitely are. They're fighting for their lives at the minute, but 4 losses out their last 5 isn't doing a very good job of it. Stevenage, on the other hand, 1 win in 5 isn't doing a good job of staying in the playoffs, but that win was against Barnsley and it sort of harmed them a little bit, and it will give them the confidence going into this game. I think a key thing for them is keeping a clean sheet against a side like this and winning the game comfortably. I think they are going to. Burton aren't a good side this year. I think they will be going down, unfortunately. I think Stevenage need to put on a professional display here, and I think they're going to win the game 2-0. Well then, it is the big one, the one we've all been waiting for. Bolton versus Portsmouth, heavyweight versus heavyweight. Team that is fighting for the automatics to a team that can wrap up the title if they win. It's going to be a spectacle. I think it's going to be goals. I think it's going to be one way. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Bolton, obviously, after Derby slips up last night, if they get a result here and they win their game in hand, they can go above them. I say Pompey, it's very simple. Win and you're champions. Draw and you're not even promoted yet. So I say I would take a draw though. I would take a draw. I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't take one. If we get a draw and we go and beat Barnsley, it's all sorted. But it would be lovely to do it at Bolton. So I'm going to predict us to win 2-1. And let's just hope we can do it. On to the penultimate game now, where Cambridge take on Charlton. Not quite the same stake attached to it as the Pompey Bolton game, but still a decent game. Cambridge, I think they need 3 points to solidify being safe, but I think they pretty much are. Those 2 wins couldn't have come at a better time. As for Charlton, they're definitely safe. They look a much better side than Nathan Jones, but I think it's about ending the season well, to go into the summer in a good mood and real turning things around for next season. And they could be definitely playoff contenders, but potentially promotion contenders if they keep up the way they've been playing and make some good additions. I do think they're going to win here though. Cambridge aren't a fantastic side. I think they almost feel like the job is done. It definitely isn't done, but I still think they're going to lose anyway. I am going to go with a 3-1 win to the Addicts. On to the final game now, where Derby, fresh off a draw that will definitely feel like a defeat, as it puts their future in the hands of others, which is not where they want to be in this moment in time. Obviously, Peterborough, they need to overturn the 5 goals as well as winning every game. Bolton just need to win. And it's going to be a real tough game for them against Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient aren't a bad side. It depends how much they go for it, though, and how much they are intent on making sure that Derby do not go up. I think if they drop points here, it's game over for Derby. They've got to be looking at the playoffs, because I just can't see the other 2 teams around them dropping that many points. So I am going to go with a Derby win, though. I'm going to go with a Derby win. I think it's going to be a narrow one. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to the home team. So that just about wraps things up. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Comment below what you think is going to happen and what you think is going to happen over the rest of the season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.